Welcome back to my channel. Now you may know that I have a 20-liter shrimp tank. In this tank there are red cherry shrimp. For the past month and a half I have not done much maintenance on this tank, so it is quite a mess. There are overgrown plants, coal shrimps, and the nitrates are a bit high. And then I thought to myself, the scape kinda looks bad to me, so I thought I could make it better. So I grabbed my camera, started filming, and decided to make this video. So enjoy the video. Okay, so this is how the shrimp tank looked beforehand. You can see that it is quite a mess. There are tannins in the water and there are just plants everywhere on the top, especially Amazon frogbit. The plant itself is not a problem because that's good for the shrimps. They have lots of hiding spots. The main problem is that I can't get rid of any coals in the tank while it's in this state, so I would have to take it apart anyways. This clip is a video of me taking apart the tank. You may notice that when I take out the plants, I'm always shaking it, or at least like trying to move it around before I take it. This is just to avoid taking any baby or adult shrimp out of the tank as well, because you wouldn't want them to die after being taken out of the water for too long. I gave the tank a quick wipe down to get any water out, and then I started to try to catch the shrimp. I'm gonna be honest, this was a pretty hard task, and it took me about, I'd say, 15-20 minutes to catch them all, or at least most of them. After I finally caught all the shrimp, I decided to drain all the water out of the shrimp tank. I was going to clean the glass on the inside, but I decided not to, as the shrimps would eat the biofilm off that when they returned. So the first thing I did was put the plastic decoration back in, because I actually don't mind that, and it would have beneficial bacteria on it. I then placed a pile of rocks in the corner. This pile of rocks will act as a hiding space for some adults, but mostly for the baby shrimps, as they will live here during the first week or two of their lives. I planted the water wisteria that was originally from this tank. I then decided to add a chest as decoration in another hiding spot. I then added in some Hygrophila corymbosa and a single stem of immersed water wisteria. For the immersed water wisteria, I trimmed off some of the top leaves to help promote growth, as the bottom leaves will just melt. I'm leaving the bottom immersed leaves on so that when they do melt, the shrimps can eat them. I'll probably also put a mystery snail in here to help with eating the dead leaves. I then got some java moss and placed it in between the rocks. This will help build areas for the baby shrimplets to eat off, as they will eat the biofilm and microorganisms off the java moss. I then added some old botanicals from the tank to help with the beneficial bacteria. Now I'm burying a bag of crushed seashells. This will help with the calcium intake to help the shrimps molt. The next step is to fill up the tank. So I got a bucket of fresh dechlorinated water and started siphoning water into the tank. My tap water parameters seem to be alright for these cherry shrimps. The only thing I've noticed is that sometimes there is not enough minerals, including calcium, which does not help because they need to molt. Sometimes I know some people have like certain shrimp salts to help boost the KH and GH, but I found that for my tap water, I only need to add a small bag of seashells and they seem to do alright. Now that the tank has finished filling up, we can add back the sponge filter. I had cleaned the sponge filter in old tank water before this, just to avoid spreading too much old detritus around. And this time I decided to place the sponge filter on the side instead of the front, so that I can actually see the cherry shrimp. Okay, so as soon as I started up the airline tubing, you can see the sponge filter spatter out a bunch of old gunk. This pretty much always happens every time I redo a tank or I'm doing maintenance, so I found that it's nothing to worry about. I then decided to add a floating ring on top of the tank. This will hold my floating plant Amazon frogbit. This is because the shrimps love to hang out in the roots of the Amazon frogbit, but I really don't want it to outbreak in this tank, as usually it blocks out the light under it. Oh, I forgot to point out before as well, I added some embulia at the bottom right corner of the tank. I added this simply because I thought it would be good for the shrimp, as it's like a bushy little area, and it's also a fast grower, so it should help with the nitrates. And then I also think that once it settles in and grows up straight, it looks pretty good. These are all the red cherry shrimp that were originally in the tank. As you can see, a lot of them have quite pale color, so I'm going to try to remove the better looking ones and just put them into the tank again. I also have a 4-foot tank which has a few cherry shrimp which I am also adding to this tank, but they are in a separate container which I will show later. For now I'm just selecting the good colored shrimp from the original colony, and a few dull colored ones just to make sure I have at least 2 or 3 males. Now that I have collected all the shrimp that I am wanting to breed, I will set up a drip acclimation for these shrimp. What a drip acclimation is basically is just getting airline tubing, tying a knot at the end, and then creating like a siphon, which will let water from the tank out into the container. Shrimp can get shocked just from temperature acclimating only, so you really need to drip acclimate to make sure they get used to the parameters, as the new tank has slightly different parameters to the original. So I'm drip acclimating them for roughly 30 minutes. As you can see, it's a really slow procedure, but it will be worth it if all your shrimp survive. Now that both containers of shrimp, including the shrimp from the original tank and the 4-foot tank, have done acclimating, we can place them into the new tank. As you can see, these ones have a bit better color. It's a bit hard to see because I've turned the light off and I've kept the tank light lower. As you can see, it has a purplish color now instead of the white it originally was. And that is the final look at the tank. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. As you can see, the water is looking super clear now, and you can see a few baby shrimp jumping around here and there. In this particular clip, all the adults are hiding, but right now as I look down to the tank, I can see some of the adults walking around. You may think that there's not enough hiding spaces, but after recording this, I added back the banana leaves as 1 a food source and 2 more hiding spaces. So, yeah, they got plenty of hiding spaces, so don't worry about that. Regardless, this should make a really good breeding tank for the red cherry shrimp in here. If I were to do this with more resources, so like recommending tips to you guys, I would use a black substrate instead of the regular gravel that I have, simply because it'll make their colors pop out more and make them feel safer. But apart from that, you can do this with probably any colored Neocaridina shrimp, and with any, I'd say easy plant will do, because I just toss whatever I had in here, honestly. Hey everyone, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to say that you may have noticed that all the poultry content on my channel has been taken down. This is simply because I've been making so much aquarium content that I thought instead of mixing the two industries together in one channel, I would have 2 separate channels, one about poultry and one about aquariums. So now this channel is called My Aquatic Life, and my new channel about poultry is called My Backyard Life, so go check that out. Hey there, thanks for watching guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if you really want to, maybe click the notification button. Anyways, I've almost reached 100 subscribers, which I know isn't much, but considering this is one of my only channels, one of my first, I think it's kind of a good accomplishment for me. Anyways, yeah, let's try to reach 100. I'm actually really happy with how this shrimp tank turned out, and I'll definitely be doing updates once the plants grow a bit more and the shrimp population has boomed. Also, if you're wondering, red cherry shrimps are the only shrimps I keep at the moment, but I do plan on getting some yellow dream shrimps in the future, so maybe if you stay tuned, I'll make some videos on those. If you like other aquarium features such as fish or snails, I'll be making lots more content on that too, so please stay tuned, and I hope to see you all in the future.